Hey buddies, I'm Spuggy here coming at you with another Borderlands 3 video. Today I want to show you the black market location and every single item in there. After I show you the location of it, I'm going to go to Sanctuary and showcase every single weapon just so I can show you what each weapon can actually do. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You have no idea how much it helps me out. And let's get into it.
Legendary? Whoa! No way, dude!
The location of the black market machine is going to be on Promethea, and it's going to be on the Meridian Metroplex. Now, there's only one place you can fast travel here, which it makes it very convenient, and the actual location of the machine is going to be right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fast travel here. Now, when you go to this location, it's only going to take you about 8 seconds to actually get to the location. So you spawn in, you just immediately turn to the right, spawn in the vehicle, and you just want to take an immediate right. If you remember in the story mission, you actually had to go here to meet up with Reese, and Reese's ship got destroyed here, but it's literally right here. It's a very close location, and the actual items inside are pretty decent, but once again, the location is right here. I'll zoom out all the way for you guys. And the items in this machine is going to be the Brainstormer, which was unfortunately also last week's item. It's going to be the Free Radical, which is a really good item, like the best item that's going to be in the machine. The Brainstormer is an okay weapon. Definitely decent on mobbing, but not really that great at bossing. And then finally we have the Ogre. The Ogre is a mega gun on most Vault Hunters. Now Moze can use it a lot better than other Vault Hunters because it's a splash-based weapon. With every Vault Hunter besides Moze, it's probably like a 4 out of 10, but with Moze, it's around a 8 out of 10. But now let's actually head over to Sanctuary so I can showcase each and every single weapon and what they can actually do. Now the first weapon we're going to be talking about is the Ogre. Not only does the Ogre have a really nice skin, it actually fires pretty nice, but pretty much the main gimmick of this weapon is that it's going to shoot rockets that deal non-elemental splash damage. The max damage is going to be 21k. It can't spawn in any element besides kinetic, so there's no elements you have to worry about. It can have list projectile of 1 to 2, but generally you probably want the one projectile to deal the most amount of DPS. Unfortunately, despite it being a splash-based weapon, it can't spawn in any splash anointments, which is very unfortunate. If it did, it'd probably be rated a little bit higher, but the actual weapon here deals some pretty decent damage, so I'm going to pull it out real quick. And you'll see as I'm shooting it, it kind of like arched down and has a decent spread, so it'll go around the map decently. As you shoot it, you'll notice that the fire rate gets higher and higher, and you'll notice that the bullets kind of have a tendency to go all over the place, so it's not necessarily the best for targeting one particular enemy unless you're aiming down the sights. But because it kind of goes all around, you can actually do some decent mobbing and like try to aim all around the area and deal decent damage. Now unfortunately I have the Infernal Wish shield, which means that we actually got burned to death there, but because of its insane spread and decent splash radius, it actually does pretty decent at mobbing. Bossing isn't really too great. It can't kill Grave Ward super quick. The fastest I killed Grave Ward is around 6 seconds, but we'll get to that when we get there. If you're Moze, I would pick it up just because it's a really fun gun to mob with, but generally it's not really worth to pick up unless you want to try a little fun mobbing gun on Moze. There's definitely better splash guns out there, but it's a decent one. Next, let's talk about the best gun that's in the machine is the Free Radical. Now the Free Radical is a very good weapon. It's often seen in the community as one of the best guns in the game. The max damage is going to be the 125k, so you can see right off the bat that the damage on this gun is really high. The card damage is arguably just ridiculously high. It probably could be a little bit less, but it doesn't matter. It can only spawn on one element, so it's very easy to farm, and it can actually spawn in splash anointments as I have right here. So the damage of this gun is really good. The initial impact of the bullets will deal more damage than the bullets that spawn. So when you shoot the enemy, it will spawn some bullets and then they'll trail back to the enemy. And luckily it works on the Jack clone, which is very nice. But the actual damage of the initial bullet is most of the damage that's going to come from it. It does decent damage from the bullets that trail around, but most of the time when I'm killing regular enemies, I hit them once with the regular bullet and then they're immediately gone before even the homing bullets can even hit the enemy. Now these homing bullets can proc short fuse, they get bonus element buffs and stuff like that, so not only that your regular shots will get all your bonuses, but the homing bullets will also get that, so it can proc Megavore, proc other things, so it's very nice. It's very versatile. We'll be going to the field in a few moments just to showcase each one of these weapons, because all these weapons really excel at mobbing. Now really the Free Radical can deal bossing and mobbing, but all these weapons I've shown so far are really good at mobbing. But next, let's head over to the Brainstormer. Now, the Brainstormer is a very interesting gun. We actually just had it. We just had it on our last black market machine, but I'm still going to explain it just in case of those you that didn't see last video. So when you shoot it, it shoots in a little lightning bolt pattern, which is very nice, but I'll show that in a few moments. Now, it can list projectiles up to 7 or 14, so it can be either 7 or 14, and now it only spawns in one element, which is shock, which is a no-brainer for the Brainstorm, no pun intended, but the max damage is going to be the 5k times 14. Now when you shoot it, you'll notice that every time we shoot it, it's going to shoot in a little lightning bolt pattern right there, so it's like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so there's supposed to be 7 right there, but it's list projectiles 14, but they still line up in a nice little lightning bolt pattern, which I really like. I'm very big into aesthetics like that. Now, the damage of the gun isn't too great unless there's enemies nearby, and the reason for that is that because when you shoot it, it'll have a chance to chain lightning to nearby enemies. Now, a single enemy can have up to 5 links at once, so let's head over to Athena so we can just test the Brainstormer and show what it can actually do. Now, despite the Brainstormer being able to do chain lightning and stuff like that, you might think that it can deal splash damage, but the gun can't deal any splash damage, thus cannot spawn any splash anointments, so you don't have to worry about doing any splash optimization when using this gun. Now, the enemies that spawned right over here, you'll notice that on regular enemies it kills them very fast, but as we get to tougher and tougher foes, you'll notice that it doesn't deal as much damage. It chains lightning to multiple enemies, and a single enemy can be linked up to 5 times, which is very nice. So you'll see that most of the time the gun damage isn't too great on single targets, but as we get more enemies nearby, you'll get more links, which means that all the enemies around will die just like that, so it will deal decent damage on that, but it doesn't deal lots of single target damage, unfortunately. So it's definitely excels at mobbing and nothing else, but it's a really fun gun to try out. It's probably better to use as Amara because Amara does lots of shock damage. We're using Moze, so we don't really have an optimized character for that, but it does deal decent damage, I gotta say. Next, let's try out the Ogre just so I can show you how good at mobbing it is. You see all those enemies over there. I'm just going to enter exit Iron Bear, and we're just going to shoot around them, and they'll probably all die because of the way all the bullets go all around, and it'll just lace into the area. And sometimes you got to get lucky, like right now that enemy isn't dying, but there we go, that one died. Now I see an enemy all the way over there. I'm just going to keep holding it down because it has sustained fire, which means longer we fire, the more faster it's going to shoot, and it has a huge magazine, which is very nice, so it excels at shooting for very long times, which is very nice when you have a big cluster of enemies that you want to kill. And then finally, let's switch over to the free radical. Now the free radical is crazy. I'm not even going to activate any action skill ends, and you'll notice me one-shotting people which is really crazy. So let me swap over that. Okay, so here's enemy. I'm just going to send one bullet his way, and he died in one bullet. That guy died in one bullet. That guy died in one bullet. That guy died in one bullet. It's crazy. This gun is really good. And then there's a badass over there. I'm going to just send 2 bullets his way, and he pretty much just died. Like, if the first bullet doesn't succeed, it's going to make homing bullets that come right out to the enemy as well, which then in turn deal lots and lots of damage. So it's definitely one of the better guns in the game. I definitely recommend getting it. Unfortunately, this gun is going to be a DLC 6 exclusive, so if you don't have the DLC 6, you unfortunately cannot buy this gun. Well, you could buy the gun, but if you buy it, you can't use it. So if you don't have DLC 6 for Borderlands 3, don't even bother. All the other weapons are base games, so you can use those too, but don't make the mistake of buying this without actually having DLC. Now let's head over to Grave Ward so we can see how much damage we can deal real quick. First, we're going to showcase the Ogre, so let me go get Grave Ward in a good spot real quick. So I'm going to pretty much do the same setup except without any element projector because this gun doesn't have an element. Of course, the bonus element would help to boost, but I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to preemptively start shooting due to the fact I know his arm is going to be down there and Grave Ward is down just in a few seconds. So it definitely deals decent damage, but it could definitely be a lot more. If it spawned in some elements, I could see it dealing a lot more damage. It could use a small little buff, but it does a decent job at killing the enemies, as you see right there, with mobbing and a tiny bit of bossing. The bossing isn't really ideal. Now let's swap over to the free radical and see how fast we can kill him. Now, since this is an elemental damaging weapon, I'm going to use my elemental projector setup, so I'm going to debuff the boss real quick. I'm going to proc a shock and fire dot on us real quick, and then we're going to just lace in the Grave Ward real quick. Just like that. That was like 3 shots and he was immediately dead. This gun is no joke. You definitely want to get it. It's one of the best guns you can get in the entire game, next to like plasma coil and a bunch of other things. But if you don't have this gun and you have DLC 6, do yourself a favor and get it, because it deals lots of damage. It's really incredible, honestly. And finally, I want to just give a huge shout out to the members who make these videos possible. Clairvoyant, Galaxy, and Jace Noodles. These guys are members of the channel, which then means that they support me with as little as $5 a month, which will in turn eventually allow me to go full time. So big shout out to these members who joined me and are supporting me and allowing these videos to come out to you guys. If you guys want to become a member, there'll be a link in the comments and description as well on the top right. But as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.